All right, guys, so super excited. Just got a DHL delivery today for my steering wheel that I ordered from Nengun Performance. This is a dream steering wheel of mine, like a dream part that I wanted for a long time, ever since I played Gran Turismo 6 and drove or won the Drift ER34, and it had the iconic Keys Racing lettering on top of the steering wheel. So let's go ahead and rip this open and see what she looks like. All right, so this is a Keys Racing semi-deep or semi-cone steering wheel or whatever they call it. Like I said, the first time I seen this wheel was on the Gran Turismo 6 ER34 Skyline drift one. Maybe I'll have like a clip here. But yeah, dude, I love that wheel so much. Since then, I've always wanted one. It was actually not too terrible. I mean, Sparko wheels and stuff go for, I think, like $250 to $300, somewhere around there. So it was that price plus like $70 in shipping. So I think it was like around $380 with everything, taxes and everything. So pretty cool. Obviously, their Keys Racing steering wheel horn button. So you've got keys here, keys there, keys here. So let you know, but super hyped. Like I said, I've always wanted like a deep dish, but not the traditional, 3-spoke one like the Momo drift ones. I just wanted a traditional tri-spoke, like the Momo race, but the deep dish version. So pretty cool. I'm excited. All I have to wait for is the quick release, as well as the Momo. Probably just gonna go with the Momo hub adapter, just because I was gonna go with the HKB ones, but I saw some posts where it's like with super hard driving they don't last as long or something, or they can't brake. So I'd rather go with a company that does race stuff. And also the Momo ones are collapsible, which is really cool for safety. So here is the Momo hub and NRG Quick Release. So just released. So this is just their, I think, Gen 3 or something like that. Quick Release, really like this one doesn't have like the weird bat wing looking things. And color exactly what I wanted. And it says forged. Curious on that, but pretty good setup there. And then you've got the Momo hub, and the reason why I like it, because it has the collapsible feature. And obviously it's like, I feel the most confident with this whole unit. Cool thing is, it looks like it has a little ring in the back for a contact for horn stuff, which I still got to figure out. So we'll hopefully figure that out. Let's go ahead and hop on over to the car. Right, last look hopefully of the stock steering wheel setup. Can't wait for the steering wheel to be a lot closer to the seat, so I can have the proper, I guess, position. But first things first, you want to go ahead and disconnect the battery so that you don't have the airbag explode on you. Go ahead and go to the back. We can free it up and disconnect the negative. There we go. All right, we're gonna leave the door kind of open and double check, maybe tap the brakes a couple times, and we should be good. Let's go ahead and make sure. Yep, everything's good. Okay, so now we can start removing the steering wheel. We're gonna start with the plastic column that goes right here. You've got like, I think 2 or 3 Phillips heads. So 1, 2, where else? 3 right there. You got these little plastic caps here as well. So we want to do this first. Probably the best bet to do this first. Grab a 10mm, take those 2 off, and you should be able to free up the airbag. Okay, with those 2 taken off, you should be able to just be very careful and remove the airbag. Keep in mind this is an explosive, so go ahead and unplug it and put it in a safe spot. Looks like it should be a fairly easy release, I think. Let me just pull this apart. Hold on. Really just pulled apart. Just need 2 hands, and you want to go ahead and secure the airbag away from anything behind the car. Okay, now you've got the steering wheel nice and exposed. So this should be a 21mm nut. Yep, 21. Go ahead and impact that thing. Just don't take it completely off, because you want to be able to pretty much just wiggle that steering wheel if it hasn't been off ever. Let's go. And I did too much, but it's fine. Alright, we're gonna put the nut back in, just enough so it can wiggle. And you wanna go ahead and just start wiggling. There we go. Cool. And I think that's freed up. And it's about to storm. It's great. Oh, that is it. So now you just want to take off the, I guess, the connector that's attached to this. I'm guessing that's for the horn. And remove. There we go. And that is it. So your stock steering wheel is off. Sweet. It's starting to rain. All good. So next thing you want to do is remove the clock spring. So got these 4 screws here. 1, 2, 3. I guess 3 screws.
I'm thinking the one on the left we might use for the horn.
Okay, now got that off, and you should be able to remove this. This is obviously airbag, and we're going to situate the airbag light as well. But you see how there's only one wire? That's for the horn, so we should be good to go. The airbag light, this will be what causes it. Now, if you can find a pre-made thing to have it just plug and play, that'll be great. I'm not gonna do anything to butcher the stock wiring. So I've got an ohm kit. You're probably gonna need 2 3.3 ohms resistors at 1/4 watt, so that you want that airbag light. So don't let this intimidate you. It's literally just 2 things you plug into. The horn button wiring, I'm probably just going to, I don't know, I'd like to depin it, but it might be easier to just splice into here, maybe like a splicer, just to go in there so that I don't have to worry about butchering any connector. So now, next step is to put the hub on. So you see those 2 holes there? Those are what help you align the turn signal cancel, which is really cool because I figured that was the one thing that was going to be annoying that I won't have anymore. Now, before it was like this way, so the prongs were left and right. So I'm not sure if it's gonna affect, you know, the way it works at all, but either way, should be good. Pretty much have it perfectly straight-ish, so all I gotta do is just get it straight in there, and it should pop right in. All right, so it should pretty much like pop into place. You see the back of pretty much just where the threads are done. You wanna make sure that's as far back as possible. Kind of hard to tell, but I did end up getting it aligned. So, yep, everything was good to go. You just have to kind of play with it. So, fitment wise, it's good. Okay, so the weather got really bad and it got super steamy in here, so I decided to just wait till the next day. Finally, actually really nice. So, we're gonna start off where we left off and put the nut in right here. Make sure you don't cross thread that. Honestly, if you just do a couple zaps, you should be okay. This seems pretty strong. It doesn't seem like, what was crazy is like the HKB ones, they only require 30 foot-pounds. And then if you do any more than that, apparently the metal starts crushing, which is another reason why I didn't end up going with it. Just gonna go ahead and zap. All right, I think we're good. A little smoky. Just make sure you don't over zap because you don't obviously want to crush, you know, the metal. I don't think it's that weak, but just make sure. A couple nice zaps. Do one more. Should be good. Now we go on to the quick release. So let's go ahead and grab that. If I can find it. I seem to be losing everything in this car despite how small it is. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and plug the wiring in. So go ahead and plug that in there. A good idea to wrap this just so that it's not touching any exposed metal bits. Hey guys, one thing I screwed up on, completely forgot, is this little sandwich thing that came with your quick release. This also came with my hub, but I couldn't figure out a way to get it to sit flush. I pretty much have the ground plugged into the little ring, and obviously it sandwiches up against this metal bit here, which is the ground. So that'll work, and then you've got the positive or the power to there. Just make sure you wrap that so it doesn't touch any metal, and go from there. On the quick release, you've got a little dot up top. That'll be your top there, and just align the top to the top. All right, so last few stops here, or last few touches. All right, that should be good. And what I like to do is just mark whatever I just did real quick. So what I did is just mark the ones I just tightened, just so I could visually just quickly look at them, make sure they're not coming loose or anything. Went ahead and marked the nut as well, just to visually see. All you literally have to do is just remove this and can visually see that it hasn't moved. So do both and you should be good. So there's the steering wheel, and we have the quick release portion is what I call it. So keep in mind, you want to just have probably the tab up top. Okay, so that's how it sits. That looks good. I'm gonna worry about the wiring in a minute. And yeah, that looks good. A little bit off, but the car's gonna get aligned anyway, so no big deal. Here we are. We're just gonna go ahead and do a star pattern just like the wheels and the hubs. Keep everything pretty straight. All right, we should be good to go. So now let's go ahead and get the horn button going. If I can find it. Well, we got to do some glamour shots first, obviously, but after that, we're going to go ahead and start tackling the wiring to prevent the airbag light and to get the horn working. Okay, so I'm going to tackle the horn wiring first because that's probably going to be the most, I guess, involved. So since it's only one actual wire here, you pretty much just have to worry about either clipping this or splicing into it. I'm going to choose to actually do like a splice into it, I guess, crimp. I don't even know what you call it. You just clip onto here, you crimp these, push that in, and then you have another wire set up that'll kind of tap out of it. So let's start with that. You've got an end on the bottom there that pretty much has like a stopper, so that'll be for your additional wire, which I have cut here. And then the other end is so that you can pretty much just go ahead and put the wire through to crimp on just like that. Let's see, so we've got this here, we got the splicing portion on the bottom, and then the other side is for the add-on. These are different gauges, but it should be okay. So let me go ahead and get this on the other end real quick. Okay, so and then all you got to do is pretty much just align everything properly and then use a set of pliers to pretty much go ahead and smash the metal right up against so it's flush on top. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to need 2 hands. So let me do that real quick and show you the end result. So that is all crimped up. You want to make it nice and flush. I'm just going to double check and make sure that this is getting power. Obviously got to hook the battery up, but I'm thinking have another crimp on this side and just bolt it down to there with one of the stock clock spring screws right there. And to be able to put it on there, plus having a contact, I'm going to be using a hair clip. Not just a generic one, anything you can find at your local store or something if you don't have one already. So gonna be using this, gonna cut it in a specific way. Gonna cut here and then here. So on this side and this side, so you have pretty much like a T this way. So let's go ahead and cut it now. I left a little bit more on the outside so that I could fit one of these connectors, these butt connector thingies. And then what I did was I went ahead and just squeezed this together so it'll pretty much just fit right up against it. So it'll be like that. So all you have to do next is pretty much just expose the metal here where it's gonna contact. And then expose the metal on the tip on this side that'll contact the actual metal brass area. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Will not be the prettiest, but it works. So I pretty much have it mostly exposed here. Pretty much use this flathead really and just scraped it off. It's really thin paint, so just have it exposed enough for the electricity to conduct. And let's go ahead and get it mounted. Okay, so everything's crimped up together nice and tight. Make sure you tighten that up. And then next we're going to just mount it on here. I'm gonna have to bend this back a little bit. Mount it on there. Once you have it nice and tight and lined, it doesn't move, so you should be good to go. But yeah, just make sure it is contacting the little brass here with the exposed metal bits. and it should be good to go. So now we're just going to hook up the battery and double check, make sure the horn works. All right, yes we do. Now we just got to figure out what's going on with this horn button. The problem I see is this one doesn't have a an actual plug for the ground. I do have a spare one that I had laying around, super old one. It's really cool. It's like Domo with holding a turbo. Pretty dope, but got 2 prongs. So let's see what I come up with. Okay, got it connected. So I have ground directly connected to the ground I've been using on the steering wheel column. And here we go. So that works. So directly plugging it in is good. So this tells me that I don't even need this freaking wire at all. So what I'm concluding is this surface area here is not a good enough ground for the steering wheel horn button to be able to be grounded. So that's kind of annoying. Really wish this had a second post, but it did sort of work with this. I just got to figure out how to get this to sit in there. For now, the mounting is not right, and then also the connector I won't be able to obviously put in there. So what I'm gonna have to probably do, go ahead and cut this and put the actual this end similar to this end butt connector. So let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and snip here and get this butt connector on. Let's snip as close as possible so we have as much wire as we need. Oh, that shot away. Okay, that should be good. I'm gonna go ahead and expose that with some wire strippers. All right, we are butt connected and plugged in. There we go. So yeah, we are good. Now the last thing to do is pretty much see how I can fit this. Okay, finally I think I have a solution. So I decided to pretty much just put a bolt through, see if I could get a negative contact point, pretty much make my own instead of, I just couldn't find a decent enough horn button I can get within the next few days or so. So decided to just do this. So far so good. So let's just do a little quick test honk here, make sure. There we go. So that's good to go. So yeah, that works. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and it would be nice if I could find a shorter bolt, but I mean this works just fine, no problem. The other bolt just didn't quite work well, wasn't flush, so I need it to be as flush as possible. So got a flat one. So let me go ahead and get everything on through the hoop and then onto the horn. Let's go ahead and do that. It's still a little too long to prevent it. It's preventing it from compressing if I have it all the way flush. So just have it kind of elevated. It should be still okay. And not have any issues with the spacing because obviously this is a lot thicker, so it should be good. It's going to go ahead and put it in, and we're going to do a double check, triple check on the horn. Okay, here we go. Cool, that works. Good to go. Sweet. These are 3.3 ohm quarter watt resistors. Pretty much going to be just using 2 in parallel. So parallel means they pretty much work together. Just like that, that'll be parallel versus if you have them connected to each other, one end to the other end, that'll kind of multiply, I believe. So all we have to do is we're going to be just doing it simple. There's many ways to do it. I'm just doing it as DIY easy as possible. So we're going to be taking 2 of these, twisting them together, and then you're going to be putting one end here and the other end here. So let me go ahead and pull these out, twist them together. So just something like this, just nice and easy, nothing too crazy. And then we're going to be just pushing one end here and the other end on the other side, so it makes kind of a U shape. And we're going to test it real quick. Okay, so pretty much just have it kind of just push in there. I may just try and cut it a little bit, but let me see if, just make sure it works. So you've got one end going to one side and the other end going to the other side. Not gonna really worry about soldering or anything like that, making it pretty. As long as this works, I'll be happy. So let's go ahead and double check. Okay, before it would already start flashing, so let's see. And it went away. Cool. All right, one final test. I went ahead and cut them as short as possible without them not being able to get in. And then I used a flathead and just jammed as much as I could in there. And then it's nice and snug, no issues coming out, so we should be good. Head in, double check, triple check here. All right. Airbag light is on, but it should go off if it works. There we go. Sweet. So that is good to go. I think we're pretty much done here. Real quick before I go on that drive, just want to show you guys the turn signal cancels do work. There's left and right. So yeah, everything works. Okay guys, so that is pretty much everything installed. Everything back in place, looks nice and tidy. Been testing it for about a week or so. Horn still works and everything is great. Pretty happy with it. I will say it's a little bit like angled upwards. A little bit down would be nice, but these stocks are not adjustable, so I just got to learn the new driving position is all. Another thing is you'll seeing keys racing the whole time I'm driving, because that's pretty much my eye level, is kind of annoying. I didn't see that as an issue, but let me hop in that driver's seat. All right, this is me pretty much back against the back of the seat here, and that is my seating position for the wrist. It's perfect. It's literally great. Let me show you guys my eye level pretty much. This is right where my eye is. Like I said, it's right where the keys racing is, but I can kind of see above, maybe more like here. So very bright, but it's okay. I'm kind of getting used to it. So kind of like a side angle here for the driving position is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. And I guess my arms are pretty much like 45 degrees, what they're supposed to be. I don't know, feels fine. A little bit higher, but overall pretty happy. Either way, thanks for watching guys. Appreciate it. We'll catch you in the next one. This is a cool TikTok thing everybody does. Oh, what? One more game. Bruh. Third time charm.